Hi there, it's Mary Charlson here. Welcome back to 5minutemarketing.com, 5-minute marketing tips. This week, we're taking a look at Clubhouse, the app that is taking the internet by storm. We're going to learn what it's about, how to use it strategically. Stay tuned. So Clubhouse, let's answer your questions. What's all the hype about? You know, everyone's been wanting to get on Clubhouse, and there's been a lot of mystery around it. So let's talk a little bit about what it is and what it's not. So Clubhouse is kind of a combination of talk radio meets podcast meets the interactivity of social media. But it's audio only, and it can be done very passively. You can be running the app in the background while you're doing something else. It's real-time conversations. It's not recorded. In fact, that's prohibited by their terms of services. And you can join in rooms. You can take part in conversations on topics of your interest through following people or through following clubs. Essentially, the fear of missing out is real on Clubhouse. And I think that's got a whole lot to do with its mystery, as well as the fact that currently it is by invitation only. So how does the app work? Essentially, what it does is it allows you to tap into real-time audio conversations with anybody from around the world. It's different. It's not visual. It is favoring a different kind of strength in social media. And right now, there's a lot of early adopter folks who are getting on board and trying to figure out how to make it work. So how does the room work? Or what are rooms? So when you first get on the app, and I'm going to be doing a bit of a demonstration at the end of this video to show you visually how it works, but the rooms are essentially spaces like a conference where you could drop into a room and take part in a conversation. Essentially, when you first go on the app, you'll be scrolling through, and it's kind of like wandering the halls at a conference, and you're deciding which of the rooms you would like to drop in on based on what the title of the conversation is, the number of people who are in there, and who might be on the stage or in the audience at that time. So what are rooms versus clubs? So a room can be started by anybody as soon as you're on the app. A club is something which is approved by the app, and you can only start a club once you've hosted a minimum of 3 rooms. And right now, there's a bit of a turf claiming with clubs, but there's also a very, very active number of people who are hosting rooms on a variety of different topics. So how do you get the app? Well, essentially, it's available only for Apple at this stage, only on iPhone, and it's available in the App Store. The actual app is free. You can download that, but you can't actually get on the app until you get an invitation. Therein lies the fear of missing out. So, do I need an invitation? Yes, you do. The way that you get an invitation is through another person who's already on the app. And the way that invitations are sent are through phone numbers. So essentially, you have to know someone well enough that your phone number is in their phone directory. And that's how you can get an invitation sent to you. Currently, it is not available on Android. We'll get more to that in a second. So who should I follow? Well, essentially, your hallway is curated by those people that you follow or the clubs that you join. And so if you want your offerings to be kind of curated to your interests, you should probably follow people who are in the topics that you are interested in. Myself, I'm interested in social media and in marketing, so I've followed a number of people in those areas, but I'm also an active travel writer, and so I've become involved in following a number of travel-related rooms and people who have started up clubs in that capacity. So far, that's what I'm doing. You can also, I follow the founders as well as a few of the early adopters on the platform, simply because I think there's probably a lot to be learned through the best practices of what they're doing on the app. So Why is it so popular? Well, I think they've tapped into the real kind of core of marketing in a sense. They've created this urgency. It's real time. It's not recorded. So if you're not there, you miss it. Also, the fact that it is by invitation only, and a lot of people find it difficult to find somebody who's on it to get the invitation. That has also created some kind of fear of missing out, but also there's nothing like creating demand for something that's difficult to get to make you want it more. So how did it go viral? Well, essentially, it's been around since April 2020. A lot of the early adopters, Silicon Valley kind of celebs were on it early on. It seems sort of October to December of kind of 2020. You've got that next wave of influencers, or at least people who are kind of mid-range, who are involved in their particular industries on a global scale, who are getting involved, and it's kind of fanning its way out from there. But about a week ago, and I'm filming this the first week of February, about a week ago, Elon Musk got on there and was in a room in a conversation, and it seems that really kind of fueled things from a word of mouth perspective. Are rooms recorded? No. In fact, it's against their terms of service to record rooms. And again, that's just the difference in the way that they're approaching this app. Are rooms live? Absolutely. That is the basis of the whole thing. It's real-time conversations with folks gathered around, whether it be in a large conference hall of 1,000, 5,000 people. I think 5,000 is the maximum. But most of the great rooms are smaller. It's where you have an opportunity to either be pulled up to the stage and engage with others on the app in real time, or you're able to converse and or hear folks on the stage who are industry leaders, and you're joining in kind of almost like a small room of 30 people. To me, those are the rooms that I found are the most valuable. So that's a couple of the details on here. Now, who started it? Who started and who owns it? So Clubhouse was founded by Paul Davidson and Rohan Seth, and they're two Silicon Valley guys, two area entrepreneurs that were alumni of Stanford. And it's owned by them, as well as Alpha Exploration Company, that's the parent company of Clubhouse. And currently, they've got a valuation of $1 billion with a little over 2 million users, although I believe the downloads are well over 3 million. So these stats are changing all the time. And when did it start? As I mentioned to you, back in April 2020, right in the heart of the pandemic. And it could be said that this was maybe the right app at the right time, or maybe it's the right app at this time. All of these things are yet to be writ, as they say. So how does it make money? A lot of people are wondering that. With a valuation of 1 billion with a B, not an M, with a million with an M, with a valuation like that, it doesn't yet have basically a money-making model. Other than its stock price. And the fact that a lot of people in the Silicon Valley and the social media industry think that it's the next big thing. The founders have said they're not going to collect user data, and they're not going to sell advertising. They've also said that they're not going to use a membership model, although I think the word might be out on that, who knows. What they have said is that they're going to favor content creators and kind of a revenue share model. The idea being that people would purchase, access to information, to hosting by those content creators, and Clubhouse would take a portion of the proceeds. They're still very much working out the details on this. So why isn't Clubhouse on Android? Good question. All I can say is that the founders started it on Mac. It's in beta currently. And so essentially what they're trying to do is work out the bumps and the challenges in its current format. They've said that they will be going to Android at some point, because that is part of their plan, but they haven't put a definitive timeline on that yet. And now we've got some tips for new users. Okay, we'll get back to this in just a moment. I'm going to go over and switch up a little bit of our studio view and go back in and share it in a little bit of a. Okay, so now we're going to go into some tips for new users, and appreciate that there are many different things that you might want to know about this, but let's take a look at some of the top line kind of things. So first off, when you join, you'll get a party hat, something that looks kind of like this, that will go by your profile and your photo. What this does is it signifies to everyone in the room that you're new. And you'll wear this party hat for about 7 days or so. I think it's about the first week. And it kind of allows everyone to be gentle with you. It allows you to kind of walk around, maybe make a few kind of mistakes, and it's okay. And that's to be embraced. And so wear your party hat proudly, and essentially go in and break things and learn as you go. The next one is to take a look at your mic. Your mic is and you'll be familiar with this from Zoom, but it's that little icon that'll be down by your photo. And I say mind your mic, because essentially, if you're ever invited up onto the stage, your mic will automatically go on. And so you have to be, unless the moderator kind of prompts you, be mindful to immediately mute your mic. Okay. And that's something certainly that if you're wearing your party hat and you mute your mic, you will be one step ahead of many of the folks who are invited to the stage for the first time. You can also go to the stage by raising your hand, and basically you're putting in a request to the moderator that you would like to be brought up to the stage. And they essentially control that through their, as the moderator and the host of the room. Your profile. Your profile is an important piece of your Clubhouse kind of presence. And essentially your profile is, you get sort of a one-page kind of thing here. It looks very much like this. This is an example of my profile. And up at the top here, you'll have your photo. And then you've got your name and your @ sign. I'm very much still a new on Clubhouse, but I'm gaining followers fairly regularly. And then you get your 3 lines here that are very important as well as part of your profile. Okay. One thing is to, at the bottom of here, it doesn't actually show on this one if you scroll, but it also allows you to link to your Twitter as well as your Instagram. What I've done on mine is I've done a link tree on my Instagram, because there's a number of other links that I would like them to be able to go to. I've got a couple Instagram accounts, but I'm also very mindful of putting in here my website as a way to bring them into my own ecosystem. And I think strategically that is an important thing to do. The first 3 lines are really important, because when you're in a room, people won't see the rest of this. They'll only see these top 3 lines. And so it's important to have those 3 lines be essentially your positioning statement. Okay. Let's see what else I want to mind you of. Your photo, your profile photo, it's suggested that you have something that is fairly close up. And here's a tip that I got from one of the fellows who was hosting the community club and Abraxas. Great fellow. I highly recommend the community club when you're getting started. He recommended that you don't change your photo. And I thought, okay, tell me why. And because that's not typical of other social media platforms. And he said, it's essentially like your brand. When you're on this platform, you're on audio only. And that is the one thing that people are looking at as they're speaking to you. And so it's kind of like you get a face, Nike gets a logo, right? You don't want to change your logo or your face. Now, if you just got on the app and you're still kind of figuring stuff out, by all means, kind of go in there and update things. But once you've picked something, you should be sticking with it. Another thing is some folks I've seen have colored out the back of their photos in kind of bright yellow or orange, or, if they wear pink glasses, it goes with their background. And that can be another way of making yourself stand out in a room as the images are all kind of piled up there in the audience. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting tip from a couple of the folks that I've been engaged with. The next thing is there's ways to show approval on Clubhouse, and you can clap by essentially miking yourself on and off. And so if somebody says something particularly interesting or relevant while they're on the stage, you can mic yourself on and off, and that's a form of clapping. Now, if you do that while you're still wearing your party hat, again, that is going to be noticed and certainly appreciated by the folks who are on the stage. Let's take a look at a few more of the questions and some features. So where to start? Let's take a tour and take a look through what this thing looks like. So this is the home screen once you're on Clubhouse, and you'll see this, and we're going to take a look through each of these icons as you go across, but this is your home screen. So essentially you'll see here at the top, there'll be kind of what's coming up based on some of the folks that you're following. And you'll see these and you can scroll through them and you can get a little bit more detail, who's hosting the room, what it's about. And you can also see the number of people who are currently in the room is 100. And there are 8 people who are on the stage that are speaking, as an example. So this is your homepage. We're going to take a look here at the question. Okay, so the Explore. When you have the Explore clicked, this is what you'll see. You'll be able to explore different clubs or people and search them. These are people they're suggesting to follow, and then there are some more people here in terms of conversation that are things that they're suggesting. But you can explore by people or by topic by going through the question mark there. The next one is the kind of messages, invitations. This is where when you first join Clubhouse, you'll get 2 invitations for free. Well, they're all free, but you get 2 of them. And essentially once you use those, it will give you some more provided that you're active on the app. What I found is if I'm going in using the app regularly, or if I'm in particular hosting rooms or actively participating on the stage, it seems to generate a whole lot more. Now, I've been given 7 at one time. This one, it just came up as 5 recently. And then it will also suggest some folks, and it just pulls up things within your phone directory of people that might be good ones to invite. Perhaps I should invite Patricia Fripp. Doesn't look like she's on yet. Then there's the upcoming for you. It's your calendar. This is where you can see things curated in your hallway based on the people and the clubs that you follow. And it kind of gives you in real time what's happening. I was filming this close to 2 o'clock today, so it tells me the things and I can scroll through this. But it's also where if I wanted to schedule a room, I would click there and I could start a room, and you'd see that up here. I can add something, I can start a room. And then I can also add one of these into my calendar to save so that it will prompt me when something is upcoming. There's also the activity, just kind of an alert of who is on, what is happening, and little notifications there. And then finally, the last one is your profile. And that's what I showed you a little bit earlier, and then you've got your profile and your settings and whatnot here. You can, as you're going through and following people, you can follow, you can decide if you want to be notified when they're going into a room or on stage, either all the time or, occasionally. And that will generate essentially kind of notices, notifications. You have to be mindful of your notifications. You can get a lot of them coming up. This is my home screen, just of sort of showing some things as they were coming up. So I probably should go in and kind of cut some of those down, so I'm only seeing some things that I'm really apt to be active in. So that essentially gives us a little bit of a run through about what the heck Clubhouse is about. Thanks again for watching this, and thanks again for subscribing to the channel and being a follower of 5-Minute Marketing Tips. If you would like to get more stuff like this, please follow my blog at 5minutemarketing.com. That's F-I-V-E, minutemarketing.com. I publish there weekly, as well as my e-newsletter on Sunday mornings. We'd love to have you there. Take care. We'll see you next week.